Rashad. His name is Rashad. So she is betrothed to the Hyperion king named Rashad. And I love that his name is Rashad because it's super black. Super black. You're not going to find somebody named Rashad in a Sarah J. Maas book. Okay? You're not going to find that. Hey y'all, welcome back to Chocolate Covered Pages. I'm Kiona. So as I was taking stock of, my reading for the year, I realized I've definitely been slacking on my fantasy, and I don't like that. We're gonna do a Tryachapter for these black fantasy books. Some are popular, some are not so popular, and I have one that hasn't even come out yet. So I really just have to see which ones are actually gonna work for me, and this is how it has to work, because for some reason I'm not gravitating towards fantasy as I typically do. And I haven't been for a little while, and I really do miss fantasy, specifically black fantasy. So I definitely want to fix that. So I am going to read the first chapter of each of these books. I'm going to come back and I'm going to also tell y'all about what's going on in the book for the first chapter. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to pick which one I want to continue reading. Okay, and hopefully it's a hard choice for me. But first, I do want to give a big shout out to Out of Print for this really dope t-shirt that I'm wearing that says read, and you can see the Sesame Place characters in the read sign. I am now an Out of Print ambassador. Y'all gonna be seeing me rocking my Out of Print gear in these videos because, why not? If you would love a shirt like this, obviously I have doctored it up a little bit. I put a little cuff in the sleeve. I pulled it a little tighter in the back so I could give me a little cute shape. I'm wearing a size medium for reference, and I will link them down below if you're interested. Okay, so the first one I'm gonna check out is called The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. Okay, this was definitely in my 25 for 25. I don't really know too much about what this series about. I'm happy to report that this trilogy is finished. So this is the perfect time for me to read it, because I don't like reading series and it's unfinished and I gotta wait. I hate that. So I just know that this has something to do with blood. That's all I know. Okay, and let me see how long is the first chapter. Okay, so the first chapter is 19 pages. Okay, so that's about right. That's cool. Okay, so let me go read this and then I'll be back. Alright, y'all. So I read the 19 pages for this one. And okay, I like the way this one starts off. This first part includes a prologue and it goes straight into chapter 1. So, is it a prologue? Yes, okay. I also really love that we have a map, and I love fantasy that includes a map. Because I like to follow, okay, when it starts telling you about different areas of this world, I like to see where it is on the map. Okay, so we have 3 sets of categories of people. We have dusters, ghostings, and embers. So dusters are the people that they say are built for labor. They have blue blood. And yeah, these are the people that are working the plantations, right? They're like servants, right? And then we also have ghostings, and the ghostings have translucent blood. Their hands have all been severed, and so have their tongues. So none of these ghostings have hands, and none of them can speak. So they've made up their own kind of language with their body. And then we have embers, and embers are like the top of the top people, you know. They're like the nobility, they're the people in office and blah blah blah. They have red blood. So in the prologue of this book, we are getting a story told to us and the people in this bar that there was a time where a sandstorm came and a woman got into the area where the embers live, and she came there with a baby, and she goes to this house, right? And she switched her duster baby with a ember baby. Okay? She left with the ember baby and left the duster baby there in this noble household. And apparently there are many other noble houses that were having this exact same thing done to them. So you have all these ember children that have been switched and taken from the ember households. And the problem is that the griot does not know the end of this story. There are rumors that the children were all killed, and you know, that's the end of that. But he thinks that maybe there's a different end to this story. Then we get into chapter 1. And then chapter 1 is basically, you know, just kind of showing us the power that embers have, where if they decide that you have done something, you know, treasonous, they call it like a trial, but it's not really a trial because the person is always found guilty, and they will kill this person, but like with a torturous device. Like they'll hook them up to something to where it'll pull their bones apart, and then they'll make the dusters watch. And I like this first chapter because this first chapter really kind of sets the tone for, you know, kind of letting you know how the hierarchy is set up from the beginning. You don't have to wonder. This is very much adult. I wasn't sure if this was adult fantasies. And sometimes with the fantasies it say that it's adult and then it reads young, but this is definitely adult fantasy because the female main character that we're following, Scylla, I'm assuming she's going to be the one we're following throughout this entire book. She's on drugs. Like, she is on drugs, and the drug she's on is like it's called a joba seed. Somehow this seed gives her, you know, like this blissful, chill, super chill feeling. You know, I'm assuming it would be like a weed type of thing. And she's just trying to get more of it. She is absolutely trying to get more of it. But she ain't got no money really because she keep messing up her apprenticeship. So I don't know, but I'm definitely interested. I also really love that they tell you right off the rip what the magic system is in this book. At least the first one. I don't know if there's any others. But what really makes the red bloods powerful is the fact that when their red blood mixes with specific strokes, it gives them the power to manipulate and move objects. So very, very interesting. Very interesting. All in all, a very good start. A very good start. I would definitely, as of right now, I would have no problem continuing with this book. Y'all, when I say I'm so tight, I was talking to y'all without the mic on. Like, I was just talking and the mic wasn't on. Chill. All right, so let's do this again, but with sound, okay? So here's what I was reading. I was reading The Dance of Shadows by Rogba Payne. Okay, so y'all know I have been trying to read this book all year. Pretty much since I bought this, I have been trying to read this book. But the bad part is there's no audiobook, there's no ebook, strictly with your eyes, and this is a chunker. So, you know, it's going to be definitely a commitment if I do decide to continue reading this one. However, what an excellent start to this book. Let me tell y'all. Okay, so we are following, and there's a prologue and then there's a chapter 1. I read both of them. So in the prologue, we meet this man and his wife, right? And the man knows that he's gonna die. Like, he knows it. He feels it. He knows that something is coming for him and it's gonna kill him. And his wife is kind of like, you know what? Like, we should just still fight. We should just still fight. And he's like, no. I mean, what's the point, you know? And then the being comes down and starts talk to him. Like, you know what? So what's up? You gonna die quietly? Like, you gonna die quietly or what? And then he was like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna make it loud. It's gonna be real loud up in here. Okay, I'm not gonna die quietly. And that is the type of, that's what I like. I love that. Like, give me that talk. Give me that talk. And when I tell you that excited me so much, I wanted to throw the book. That's how much I was like, yeah. And I won't tell you what happens. I won't tell you what happens. But just know that him and his wife, they went and got those double, what are they calling it? Double edge axes. And they went to work. They did what they had to do, you know. If you're going to try to kill me, I'm going to put up a fight, basically. And let's talk about the magic system here. So we find out in the prologue that the magic system is like shadow work, where your shadow gets busy for you. Okay. Now, what I don't know is, are you fighting over here and then you tell your shadow, all right, so you handle him and then I'm over here? That is the part that I am not super clear on. I might need to read the prologue again, but I don't recall it telling me that these things were happening at the same time, right? But that's kind of dope. You know, your shadow is just like doing this thing and you but I just love how him and his wife just suited up like, you know what? Nah. You're not about to just take me, you know? I love that energy. Then we get into chapter 1. Chapter 1, we are meeting a young man named Rumi, and Rumi is what is called in, what's the name of it? What is the name of it? Odu. Odu is the name of what Rumi and his people are. Now, there is a caste system here, okay? So at the top, you have these people called the Palamane or something like that. Palamane. And then there's the Saharan. And there's all these different tiers, right? And the Palamane, they're the ones that are at the top, and Odu is at the very, very bottom. So the Odu people, most of them, they are struggling. You know, Rumi and his family are struggling. They don't always know where their next meal is going to come from. And Rumi is tired of that. He wants to try to audition to work in the palace as entertainment. He knows how to play a few different instruments, right? So he auditions and he ends up getting the job. And he is thinking, this is great. This is going to be great for my family. Perfect, right? So that's chapter 1. Still very interesting. I really love that prologue. Starting with a bang. There's also the question of vultures. Vultures have something to do with the magic system, the world, something of that nature, right? Because first, when the man and the woman are about to fight, right, in the prologue, there is a vulture that they see up ahead, and the vulture is looking at them, right? Then in chapter 1, Rumi is looking up at the ceiling, and there is an angel, like a mural at the top, and there's an angel there, and then there's a vulture on the angel's shoulder, which is very strange, because why would an ugly vulture be in an angel cherubic type of, those types of murals with the naked babies and the clouds and the wings, and yeah, why would a vulture be in that? You know what I mean? And then after Rumi gets the job and he's leaving the palace, he sees a vulture again, and an actual real live vulture. This vulture is just looking at him. So I feel like, and I'm just judging from the cover, because you see all these vultures all over, who I'm assuming on the cover is Rumi. Maybe he can control vultures. I don't know, but I'm excited. I am excited. This is a very strong contender, y'all. A very strong contender. I did enjoy the Final Strife. I very well could have continued with that, and I very well could continue with this. So far, we're doing good. Okay, so next up, we have The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. I'm going to try this one out because this is one of N.K. Jemison's least popular book series, in my opinion. You don't hear too much about it. You will probably hear about the Inheritance trilogy before you hear about the Dream Blood duology. And I have both of these, so it's just really no excuse. I also have the Inheritance trilogy, but I like that this is broken up. The Inheritance trilogy copy that I have is really like a huge bind up. Yeah, so let me read the first chapter of this one. Let me see how many pages it. I haven't marked it off. I have it marked off already. It's 18 page. Oh, sorry. It is 17 pages. Okay, so let me read this one and then I'll be back. Okay, so let's talk about The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. Okay, so in this, we meet a man named Ahiru. And Ahiru is pretty much a reaper of sorts. I'm calling him a reaper, but they're calling it gatherers in this book. And it's basically where these gatherers have their assignment. They have like a name of someone, and they have to go to this person. They enter their dreams and they kill them. They take the soul of this person when they get into their dreams, right? Very interesting stuff. The first assignment he has to do for the night, everything goes according to plan. Everything is, smooth sailing, right? He takes the soul, boom, right? Moving on. He gets to the second assignment, and this person is basically not wanting to be taken. This person is fighting. This person is calling him all types of names, calling him a demon, saying that they're using him, and saying all these things. And at first Ahiru is like, this dude is wild. Like, this dude is crazy. But then the guy says Ahiru's real name, like his full name. And it's his full name that no one ever knows. And he's like, yo, how does this dude know my full name? Maybe he does know something I don't know. I don't know. I've been just doing my assignments. I've been just gathering the souls like I'm supposed to do, giving people peace as I'm gathering the souls, calming them down, right? Because in the dreams, he has a lot of power to where, well, he has a lot of power, period. But he has a lot of power in the dreams to where he can create a scene to where everything just feels calm, and he can make like trickling water, and just like he can just make everything just super chill to where the person feels relaxed enough to just like release and let him just take the soul, right? But he has so much drama with this last guy that it ain't calm when he takes that soul. Like, he takes the soul is bouncing all over the place. Like, what I read, I was like, now the soul is bouncing all over the place. Like, it was a hasty exit, apparently. Okay. But when he leaves, he ends up seeing like this being, right? Because it's late at night, he's the only one out, but then he sees this being, and this being is kind of mirroring his movements, and then all of a sudden the thing leaves. So I'm like, is that the demon? Is that why that guy was saying that they're demons? I don't know what is going on, but very, very interesting start. I expect nothing less from N.K. Jemisin. Yeah, I always really love books that have something to do with dreams, something to do with entering dreams, and I enjoy them. I enjoy them very much. So, and then, as if that wasn't enough, we get first chapter, and then we get something called a first interlude. Now, in this first interlude, we get a story. In this story, it talks about the moon and the sun, and it's actually pretty salacious, if you ask me. I'll let you read it for yourself if you're interested, but it was a very interesting take on the sun and the moon. I will tell you that. I will not be seeing the sun and the moon the same after reading that interlude. Okay, so next up we have a book that's actually not out until October, but I still wanted to try it out because, one, I have a copy and I would like to read it before October when it comes out, because I've had this advanced reader copy for a little while now and I just love the cover. And that is going to be Our Vicious Oaths by N.E. Davenport. This is the same author, Mia Davenport, that is the author of The Blood Trials, which I never ended up finishing. I know, terrible of me. And here I am grabbing her latest book. But yeah, this is, from what I'm told, is marketed as a black romantasy. Now, I'm not the biggest romantasy girl, because I don't need my fantasy to have romance in it, but because it is N.E. Davenport, I definitely want to give it a shot. I'm excited that she's even thrown her hat into the romantasy ring, because it's been super popular. So why not have some black versions of it? Okay, hello. So let me check this one out and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, we are back. Okay, so in the beginning of this, we meet a girl named Kadisha. She's a princess of the Aether Fae Kingdom, and her and her girls, she got two girls that she be riding out with, clearly, right? They are riding on these things called Kongamato or something. Basically, they're magical creatures. They eat things for them, and they riding on them in the sky, kind of like dragons, but they're not exactly dragons. I think they're like half dragons, right? And while she's riding up, she spots some people that are not supposed to be on her territory. Apparently, the Sixth Kingdom, which is what her kingdom is a part of, right? We have the Aether Kingdom, and they're all a part of these other 5 kingdoms, right? Which makes up the 6 kingdoms. They are all against this other kingdom, which is called the Apollyon Kingdom. Right? So they've been beefing for some time now, right? So the Apollyon court people, they have sent some guys to camp out on their territory, most likely to spy. Well, Kadisha don't like that. So she decides to kill a few and kidnap a few to bring back to the kingdom so that they could be tortured and find out who sent them and why they there, right? Okay, so that is that part. Then Khadijah goes back to her father, who is a king, the Aether king, and she's telling him, she's presenting literally their heads in her hand. She's presenting their heads, and she's like, "Daddy, look what I found. They was spying on us, blah blah blah, and this is see what I did for you. I don't want to be betrothed to this man. She is betrothed to this man to get married to the Hyperion king named Rashid. I think his name is Rashid. First of all, that is so funny that his name is Rashid. I mean, so black. I love it. I love it. Rashad. His name is Rashad. So she is betrothed to the Hyperion king named Rashad. And I love that his name is Rashad because it's super black. Super black. You're not going to find somebody named Rashad in a Sarah J. Maas book. Okay? You're not going to find that. You're not going to find that. Okay. So, so anyway, Rashad is older than her daddy. And she's like, even though he looked good, and you can't really tell because these are fae. So these people done been around for many, many years. And they don't look it, but still she knows that this man, even though he looks amazing and like he could probably put it down. This is literally her words. This is not my words. She said that. This is an adult fantasy, by the way. So, like, make no mistake about it. Upon reading it, it is an adult fantasy. Okay. So, yeah, she despises this man and she does not want to marry him. And her father is like, listen, you got to do it. You got to unite the kingdoms. There was a prophecy that was told, and in the prophecy apparently it said that Khadijah was going to be queen. She was going to be queen, and she was going to unite the kingdoms, and she was going to have a strong son of royal blood. So they are hanging their hat on this whole prophecy, and the Hyperion king feel like it's him. I feel like it definitely ain't him. That's just me. I done read a couple books. I done been around the block a few times, and I don't think that prophecy is about him. But we're gonna see. So yeah, so that is pretty much the beginning of it. And we're 24 hours away from her wedding to this man that she does not even want to touch her hand. This one is good, y'all. This one has a very good start as well. I could easily continue. I don't know. This is hard. This is a hard choice. I picked some pretty good ones. I'm not gonna lie. I picked some pretty good ones. Okay, so let's go with the next one. And that is going to be a book that just came out very recently, as of maybe a week or two ago. Birth of a Dynasty by Chinaza Badu. And we know from the cover that it is a story about revenge, because it says, and above all, choose vengeance. Okay, so let me see, because I tabbed it off. I want to see how many pages it is. I'm loving how a lot of these chapters have been like 20 pages or less. Like I like that for me. Okay. Yeah, so 20 pages. Literally exactly 20 pages for this one. Okay, I'll be back. And we're back, y'all. Oh my goodness. I have made this so hard on myself. So hard. What a great start. What a great start. Oh my goodness. Okay, so immediately when you start this book, stuff is happening. Okay, people are coming. In this book, we meet a boy named These names are killing me, y'all. Okay, Mkuru. So we meet a boy named Mkuru. Oh, Makuru. And he has watched, during this first chapter, he has watched his entire family be slaughtered. All in the name of a man named Prince Effion. So in the beginning of this, it's very clear that the mom knows that people are coming to try to kill them. So she talks to the son, Mkuru, and his sister, and, she's making them repeat their affirmations and everything about how smart they are and about how capable they are. And then she's forced to make the daughter run away because the daughter is older than the son, than Makuru, and they run away, to try to get to some kind of safety. But when they do, the soldiers, they find them anyway, and the sister has to fight. And then another guy named Zenzele, him and the older sister have something going on, and he, tries to avenge her. And that whole scene is like a lot, and the younger brother, Mkuru, is just, he's hiding, but he doesn't want to be hiding. He wants to try to, get in there and help his sister, but he can't because he knows that he's too small and that he'll just die too. And that is this entire first chapter, is him just watching his family members just get picked off one by one, and him just building up this rage in him. And let me just tell you what it says. This is what he continues to repeat, which is, I will never forgive, I will never forget, I will show them no mercy. So yeah, this is clearly going to be a vengeance story, and I am absolutely here for it, because those are some of my favorite type of stories, especially when it comes to fantasy. Yes, I love that. All right, y'all. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let me hold up the whole stack. Here's the 5. Okay? In case we forgot, here's the 5. Now, this is hard because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I can literally continue with any of these and be a-okay. I think if I'm just going off of which one I literally had to force myself to stop reading at chapter 2, I'm gonna have to go with this. I'm gonna have to go with this. I want to know what is gonna happen next. I want to know, what do these vultures have to do with this book? I want to know the connection between the prologue and what's happening in Rumi's world now. I want to know all of these things, and I don't know if I can wait. I don't. And then, if I had to pick another one, like right after, I'm gonna hit you with this one. Like, if I had to pick one that's right after that. And listen, I got this copy, I got the ebook, I have the audio, so it's very easy for me to continue with this one. So listen, this one is still in the mix now. It's definitely still in the mix, but honestly, any of these could have continued on. I love how fairly easy this one is. The writing in this one is not, so far from what I've seen, like, it's not super hard regarding like the world building and the magic system. Everything is pretty much laid out for you. So, and I have the audio for this one as well, and it was on my 25 for 25, so I could very well still get to it. I want to still get to this one. I thought that this one is probably the most creative, because I know that N.K. Jemisin is not going to stop here with the whole entering dreams and killing people. There's gonna be some other stuff going on here. I know it is. I know it is. And I already see her starting the world building and how intricate it's going to be from that first chapter. I just know. And then giving us the story of the sun and the moon. Love. This has been fun. Of course, I had to pick the one that's the least accessible to me. The one that I have no audiobook for, no nothing. Okay, of course. But it's cool. I feel like this could be my evening book. I don't know. I'm gonna make it happen. But anyway, this has been so much fun. I have not done one of these in a hot minute, and I forgot how much I really enjoy doing them. I really hope that y'all have enjoyed this Tryachapter video featuring Black Fantasy. And let me know what other types of books you would love to see me do Tryachapter on, because y'all know I got so many genres in here. And sometimes I be needing a little extra kick in the butt to like go back to a genre that I haven't been in for a while. And that was definitely the case with fantasy. I miss it. And this is reminding me of how much I absolutely miss fantasy. I miss learning about the different worlds and how intricate it can be, and how when you finally finish, you feel so accomplished. But anyway, make sure you give me a thumbs up if you really enjoyed this video. Make sure that you subscribe if you have not already for more bookish content like this, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.